Credit cards can be our best friends or our worst enemies. It all depends on how we use them. So in today's video, we're going to review the 5 golden rules you want to follow when it comes to using your credit cards, so you become their master, not the other way around. Hi, if you're new to the channel, my name is Tay from Financial Tortoise, where we learn to grow our wealth slow and steady. The number 1 golden rule to using your credit cards wisely is to pay off your credit cards in full. Every single one of your credit cards, every single month. And if you take only one piece of advice from this video, I would say this is the most important one of them all. There are 2 primary reasons for ensuring that you pay off your credit card in full every month. One is it will help you avoid paying interest on your purchases. Credit card interest rates are known for being notoriously high. The average interest rate on a credit card today is about 15%. If you were to only pay the minimum on a $20,000 credit card debt until all the debt was paid off, how long do you think it will take? At a 2% minimum payment percentage, it would take you about 47 years to completely pay off that $20,000 in credit card debt. But what's worse is the total interest you would have paid to the credit card company, about $33,000. When you're only paying the interest on the credit card, you're really paying a high price for the privilege of using their credit card service. And there is no situation where this is worth it. Another reason you want to pay your credit card in full every month is that it will help you build good credit. Your payment history is one of the biggest factors that make up credit score. It represents 35% of your overall credit score. Therefore, the single most important thing you can do to improve your credit is to pay your bills on time. Lenders like prompt payers, so don't give your credit card company the opportunity to lower your credit score by being few days late with your payment. The easiest way to ensure that you pay your credit card in full every month is to set up automatic payment. Just set up your account so that your full amount is paid in full every due date. You can also have a notification be sent to your email every time this occurs, so you're in the loop as regards to when the payments go out in full and on time. The number 2 golden rule to using your credit cards wisely is to request a fee waiver whenever you can, or at least request some other incentive if you have to keep paying the annual fee. And the best time to do this is when you get closer to paying the annual fee every year. Banks want to keep you as their customer, so you want to make them earn your business. Remember, there is no shortage of credit card companies in the market. They are constantly competing with each other to gain new customers and retain existing ones. If they feel like they're going to lose you because of the annual fee, they'll do whatever they can to keep you. I've done this often, especially with my most expensive credit cards. But to be honest, it doesn't work every time. However, they often will throw in some incentive to soften the blow. For example, for my American Express Platinum card, though they weren't willing to waive my annual fee, they were willing to provide additional points if I was willing to remain with them as a customer. And these additional points were great because they allowed me to either get on a free flight or a free hotel night when transferred. The worst that can happen is a no, but it never hurts to ask. When I was courting my wife in our 20s, the first time I asked her out, she flat out said no. Now, did I go home, curl up in a ball and cry? Maybe, maybe not. Let's not judge. However, I gathered up my courage and approached her again a few months later. This time, try not to be so creepy. She didn't say yes, but she also didn't say no right away. So in my book, it was a win. I eventually convinced her to give me a chance. And 10 years later, she's still with me. Don't be afraid to ask the question. The worst thing that can happen is a no. But if you can glean any lesson from my dating story, with persistence, things can work out in your favor better than you expected. Not only do you get to save hundreds of dollars in fees and get to use all the credit card benefits for free, you get it all from just asking one question. The number 3 golden rule to using credit cards wisely is not to cancel your cards, especially the ones you had for a long time. Lenders like to see a long history of credit, which means that the longer you hold an account, the more valuable it is for your credit score. Therefore, even when you have a card that you rarely use anymore, if you had it since college, it might be worthwhile keeping around. And note that credit card companies will often cancel your account after a certain period of inactivity. To avoid having a card you rarely use shut down, set up a small recurring expense and automatic payment on it. For example, I set up one of my credit cards to pay my $12.99 monthly Spotify subscription each month. This is the only recurring expense on this credit card. This requires almost zero ongoing work on my part, but my credit report reflects that I've had the card for more than 10 years, which improves my credit score. The number 4 golden rule to using credit cards wisely is to keep things simple. I love credit card hacking, meaning using credit cards for free flights and free hotel rooms. Therefore, I have more credit cards than the average person. However, even with all my credit cards, I try to keep things as simple as possible when it comes to maintaining and managing them. No more than 1 hotel credit card or 1 airline credit card. I know of friends who have opened over 20 to 30 plus cards to churn rewards, meaning they're opening up cards constantly to take advantage of sign-up bonuses. Take it from me, I manage my own investment portfolio and I also manage my set of travel hacking credit cards, but ironically, managing the credit cards is more complex than managing my multiple figure investment portfolio. When you have tons of credit cards, you're not only needing to keep track of all the multiple payments, but all the minute fine print that comes with each card. How can you use specific reward points? Where can you use it? When do they expire? It's hard enough doing it with just a few cards. When you have 10 or more, it can really get out of hand and you can be paying more than receiving. I know I mentioned in the earlier golden rule to not cancel your cards. However, if you find yourself swamped with the number of cards you have, close the inactive ones. As long as you're paying your balances on time and have good overall credit, the long-term impact of closing some of these accounts will be minimal. And most importantly, you'll sleep easier at night with a simple system you can easily wrap your head around. The number 5 golden rule to using credit cards wisely is to request a credit limit increase. And don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying you should request more credit so you can spend more money. It actually has to do with something called your credit utilization rate. The credit utilization rate is simply how much you owe divided by the available credit. And we want to improve this number because this makes up 30% of our credit score. Let's go through an example. Let's say you have a credit card with a $3,000 total available credit and you spend a max $3,000 on it. In this scenario, the credit utilization rate is 100%. $3,000 divided by 3,000. However, if you're able to get your credit limit to increase to $10,000, your credit utilization ratio improves to 30%. $3,000 divided by 10,000. When it comes to credit utilization, lower is better because lenders don't want you to regularly spend all the money you have available. People who regularly spend all the credit available to them have a tendency to default, and thus, from a bank's perspective, they are high-risk individuals. To improve your credit utilization rate, we can choose to spend less on our credit cards, but the easier solution is to just request more credit. Now again, this doesn't mean you should go and spend more. You're doing this primarily to increase your credit utilization rate and thus your credit score. The number 6 golden rule to using credit cards wisely is to maximize all your benefits. And when I mean all your benefits, every single one of them. As I mentioned earlier, many credit cards offer rewards programs that give you cash back, free hotel nights, and other benefits. But most people don't take full advantage of all the free stuff that comes with credit cards. For example, most recently when I wanted to take my family on an overnight vacation, I was able to redeem a free night certificate on my Hyatt credit card to save more than $300 in a hotel expense. This is probably the easiest example, but let me share with you several more that many people don't even realize that they might already have with their existing credit cards. Additional warranty. A lot of cards extend warranty on your purchases. So if you buy that new MacBook and it crashes after the manufacturer's warranty, it might still have some coverage through your credit card. Avoid buying highly marketed extended warranty and check your credit card policy. Free TSA pre-check and global entry. If you have a travel credit card, there's a good chance that it covers the fee for the TSA pre-check or global entry application, most often every 4 years. If you fly often, TSA pre-check and global entry will make your travel experience so much better. You don't have to take off your shoes or belt, and the line is significantly shorter than the regular TSA line. And the best part is that it's free with your credit card. Trip cancellation insurance. If you book tickets for a vacation and then get sick and can't travel, your airline could charge you some expensive fees to rebook your flight. Now, this has gotten better since COVID. However, it is a risk that you always have to face when booking flight tickets. However, if you purchase it with a credit card that has trip cancellation insurance, they will cover those change fees. Not only do you save money, but you also gain a peace of mind. Credit cards are by no means without its dangers. However, if you can follow these golden rules, you can beat the house and gain all the benefits of owning credit cards while mitigating its downside risks. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to learn more about some of my favorite travel credit cards, check out my video here. Until next time, all the best.